Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Across Connecticut today was a day to really dig out, and some parts of the state had to dig deeper than others.
Yeah, Fox 61's Matt Karen spent the day in the Litchfield Hills where life looks like a snow globe. Matt.
Well, this certainly is a picturesque part of the state. Just take a look behind us in the silhouette of the rolling hills. It's even more beautiful when you add that fresh coating of snow for the first time in the winter. Almost makes it seem like you're stepping back in time in like a bygone era. But take a look at where we are here in Norfolk, and you can see this area of snow is completely untouched, pristine since it has fallen, and you can kind of hear it crunch there as we take a look at how deep it is, and you can see the consistency of it. Here in Norfolk, they got about 14 inches of snow, one of the highest totals anywhere in the state. It's called the Icebox of Connecticut.
It's a funny little pocket.
A pocket of the state where winter white is embraced.
Theoretically, anyone who lives here should really enjoy winter. So we all get excited when it snows.
A sentiment shared by almost anyone.
I'm not big on winter. You know, my snowblower broke down yesterday. I got to take it to get it fixed.
Richard Garfield is a former state DOT plow driver who's lived in Norfolk for 70 years.
It was pretty bad, but the roads, they took care of them real good.
From the open roads to the private driveways, residents took the back-breaking work of winter in stride.
Who needs a gym membership? I got muscles from yesterday I didn't know I had.
It was hard not to stop and enjoy the view. And enjoy the food, too.
We're not wimps in the northwest corner.
Ryan Craig owns the Berkshire Country Store, which was business as usual during Sunday's winter blast.
We try to be here for the community. There's a lot of guys out plowing and snow blowing, and we recognize that it's a small town and not a lot of options. So we try to be open as much as we can when there's bad weather.
Sunday snow gave way to a Monday melt as the sun glistened down on Connecticut. If you've already cleared the snow from your own property, one thing you might want to consider if you're able is clearing a storm drain or a fire hydrant. With rain on the way, leaving them blocked can create a flooding risk.
The main concern for the next storm is the street flooding. With all the storm drains being snow covered and plowed in, we're concerned that the water's not going to have anywhere to go.
So now we do turn our attention to the next storm, which is expected to bring mostly rain and wind to Connecticut. And in addition to the flooding, one other thing to watch out for, snapping tree limbs. They're already weighed down due to the heavy snow. Add a little wind to that, and it could be a recipe for some trouble. Reporting in Norfolk, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Matt. A lot to think about there. Yeah, we're in a weather watch alert tonight. The snow is done, but now, as he mentioned, we have some rainy and windy weather to pay attention to.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frayne joining us now. Rachel, Matt said it, you know, we've got lots of rain coming down on top of the melting snow. We've got high winds, and the fact that this is happening during the work week, not the weekend. This may be a lot more headaches this storm than the snow was over the weekend for a lot of people anyway.
Yeah, any one of those things alone would be trouble. 2 to 4 inches of rain, melting all the snow at once. Gusty winds, but we're putting all of those together. So this is going to be quite a headache starting Tuesday afternoon, but the worst of it will be heading into Tuesday night and Tuesday overnight. By 6 a.m. on Wednesday, this storm is out of here. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches of rain. And we're not just going to melt some of the snow, but we're pretty much going to be able to melt all of it with temperatures soaring into the 50s as we head into Wednesday. Gusts 40 to 60. I think 60 is going to be most likely either along the immediate shoreline or in southeastern Connecticut. So it won't be for everyone, but at least a few outages are likely, and coastal flooding as we head into your Wednesday morning, likely minor in nature. Right now we're looking at temperatures that are in the 20s and 30s. There could be some slippery spots tonight as we had some melting today and now a bit of a refreeze, but that's mainly for areas that were maybe half cleared and not for areas that had dry pavement today. This is a look at our storm system. Overnight lows dipping back into the 20s and even some upper teens as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. That snow and mix in spots, mainly in the hills, changing over to rain fairly quickly, beginning between 2 to 5. Heavy rain overnight, the worst over by 6 a.m. Wednesday. We'll show you the future radar coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. With the state covered in this blanket of snow, utility crews are turning their focus on that heavy rain and strong wind gusts expected to come in now.
Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc joins us live outside the Eversource Work Center in Hartford with how it's preparing for an emergency response. Julia.
Hi, good evening to you both. Yeah, the president of Eversource says that this upcoming storm looks a lot like the one we saw about 3 weeks ago, where just under 200,000 of their customers were without power, some of them for days on end. Now, this one, they say, might be more of the same, but this time, as we've heard from Rachel and Matt, we're adding an extra factor here, which is that melting snow happening already. And because of this, utility crews are beefing up on manpower even more. Now, that process starts with activating their emergency response plan. That starts at 6 o'clock Tuesday night. That's when Eversource says a total of about 1,100 line and tree crews will be sprawled across the state. Now, some of those workers will be outside contractors from other states like Pennsylvania and New York. They'll first respond to blocked roads, then critical facilities like police, fire, and hospitals, then customers' outages. Now, as these folks do what they can to prepare, they ask you to think about things too, like maybe getting a storm kit ready to go.
Water, any critical medical prescriptions that you have, flashlights, batteries, and in particular, charge up your mobile devices, definitely before noon tomorrow.
Now, once again, Eversource says that they are expecting thousands of their customers to be impacted by this weather event, and it could take, again, multiple days to get power back to everybody, all of their customers. So they are asking you for their patience as they work to do that, and they're bringing in the extra crews to try to get it done sooner rather than later. Now, in the meantime, they also want to remind everyone, we know we say this every storm, but if you see a live wire out there, assume, first of all, that it is a live wire. Don't go near it and call 911 and have them take care of it. For now, we're live in Hartford tonight. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Julia, thank you. New tonight, West Hartford police have released the identity of the pedestrian hit and killed over the weekend. Police say 80-year-old David Goldfarb was hit on Albany Avenue near Mohegan Drive Saturday evening. Goldfarb died at the hospital. We're told the driver is cooperating with police. And state police are searching for the suspects who burglarized a school in Deep River. Police sharing these photos of the two suspects who are accused of burglary at John Winthrop School. Police say the suspects vandalized students' artwork and school electronic equipment. Anyone with any information should call police.
The Department of Transportation's Know the Zone safety pilot program just wrapped up. It was created to crack down on drivers speeding through construction zones. State police have issued tickets for hundreds of drivers. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is in Waterbury with the details.
Department of Transportation officials say the pilot program was a success. They were able to catch around 25,000 cars that were speeding and gave citations to more than 700 drivers.
We need people to slow down on Connecticut roadways.
The Zone speed safety camera program just wrapped up across Connecticut. Thousands of drivers were caught on camera speeding through construction zones.
The cameras were there to alert drivers of their behavior and to help protect the workers who are out there.
Back in April through the end of December, cameras inside white SUVs were parked in work zones across the state, no more than 3 on the same day, in order to prevent accidents in work zones. State data shows more than 2 million vehicles passed through work zones. More than 500,000 were speeding under 15 miles per hour, but more than 24,000 were speeding more than 15 miles per hour and were issued warnings. More than 700 drivers were issued citations of at least $75 after not listening to a prior warning.
When we look at the data and we see that 25,000 people got a warning, but about 700 and change got that second or third violation, that's good news in our mind. That means that more than 24,000 people got that letter in the mail, said, oh geez, I was speeding, I didn't realize it, or I'm not going to do that again. Whatever the case may be, they course corrected, they changed their behavior.
DOT spokesperson Josh Morgan says there may be a push to make the safety program permanent.
Are looking at the data, we're combing through the speeds that what we're seeing on our roadways with or without the cameras. But this upcoming legislative session will continue those conversations.
The findings of this safety program will be presented to the state legislature. In the meantime, DOT officials are hoping for another round of this safety program in different locations. In Waterbury, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Lindsay, thank you. State regulators are being asked to step in and investigate Frontier because consumer watchdogs say the company hasn't been meeting quality standards. In fact, Frontier has actually documented its own failures for years. The next steps are to see if the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, will investigate. Depending on what they found, they could order lower rates or take other action.
Over the weekend, local lawmakers worked on a spending deal trying to avoid a government shutdown, but some local programs, our congressional leaders are warning, could still be on the line. Today, federal and state leaders came together at the Miller Memorial Library in Hamden to highlight one of those initiatives, connecting Connecticut families to affordable internet access. The connectivity program relies on federal funding, which they say they'll be reapplying for soon.
The bills are rising. The need for information is increasing. These families have to choose between putting food on the table, paying the mortgage, and connecting to the internet. And that means in Connecticut, as elsewhere, we have a homework app.
Our state has helped more than 180,000 low-income people connect to the internet just last year.